Shalom, Yahweh Shem Shabbatah, Yahweh Shema Al Shem Yahushai. We're the Isupk, started out of 1 West 105th Street, Harlem, New York. We're under commanding General Yohana, here to show true Israelites of the Bible for blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Today is the Friday Lashawan Qadash class, aka the Hebrew class, where we go over the Holy Tongue. All right. And in last class, what we started to do is we started to get some sentences together after going over the basics. Now, again, the basics being the alphabet itself. So you're going to see the alphabet here on the right side that you can refer to at any time during the class. We also have possessive adjectives and prepositions. So what are these? These are modifiers that you're going to see either at the end of each word or at the beginning of a word. And we'll go over some examples of that today, some basic examples that we'll pull from some of the Torah scriptures that we'll be using in our upcoming Hebrew classes, or Salakia, our upcoming Sabbath services. All right. So when looking at the alphabets here, notice that there are two of them. They're the same pronunciation, the same characters, just in a different dialect or a different format, where you have the ancient Hebrew and the Assyrian Hebrew. Now, at the beginning of each class, what we are going to do is we're going to drill some of these with one of the brothers that is in the class. So today, Kapiyar is attending. Officer Kapiyar is going to be basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him a, let me see, ancient, and then we have Assyrian, where I'm going to give him one of the characters and I'll pronounce like Ka, Pa, Da, any of the ones on this list here. And he's going to write it down without referring to the chart. Those of y'all that are watching, you will be able to see the character that he's going to need to write down. And I suggest that if you have a pen and pad, that you do the same thing. When I call them out, see if you can write down the characters that we call out without having to refer to what is essentially a cheat sheet here. All right. Some of these characters going to get rubbed against every once in a while. So I always have to make sure to sharpen them up so that y'all can read them pretty well. All right. So we're going to go ahead and begin. Officer Capillar, come on up. You're going to go ahead and start writing some of these down. Let's see what you got. No, I'm going to give you, we'll start, like we've been just doing one at a time, right? Eventually we'll do more than one at a time. But for now, you're just going to go ahead and write down the characters that I mentioned. First character is going to be Ra. 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 Let's see if you got it. Ra. If you got to look at the chart, go ahead and do it. But again, we don't want to take too much time doing the drills. This is a chance for you to show if you've been studying. Okay, Rob, go ahead and erase that. Next character we'll do is I. I. This ancient and then the Assyrian. Use a different marker. That one's kind of faded out. I was using the red one because I think that one actually shows up the best. Yep, that's correct. Yep, correct. And the Assyrian, what does I look like? Yes. All right, go ahead and use the red one. Let me see if we have any other ones. Black marker. Next character is Shah. Mm-hmm. Shah. Try this one. See if this one works better. That'll work. Shah. Shah. Go ahead. Yeah, how can you forget Shah? Shah is really easy. That's true. Shah. Yeah, that's the Assyrian. Now, what's the ancient Hebrew version look like? There you go, just like that. Go and erase. Just make sure that after you finish the one on the left, that you step a little bit to the side so the audience can see it. Yeah, because it's showing up. It's just kind of faint. Go ahead. Now we're gonna do ah, the letter ah. Yeah. Hmm. There you go. You have the other way. Yeah. Oh sweat, don't worry about it. Like I said, it comes down to practice. And for those of you that are just now learning the Hebrew alphabet, heck, even for those of you that have already even taken your officer's test and have come in and started to study, it's important to know that in order to retain this, you do have to use it. You know, brothers that read and say the prayers during the Sabbath service are going to have an easier time remembering, at the very least, the Assyrian, which is the alphabet that you see on the right side of the chart. That's yeah. Go ahead and erase that. And so it's important to always practice the ancient Hebrew alphabet if you want to commit it to memory, because if you don't, you'll end up forgetting it. Let's try the character Ta. 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 If y'all at home can see on the right side the character Ta, what does that look like? No, you're thinking of Tazah, and that's the Assyrian, not the ancient. Or Slack. That's the you were writing down the ancient. Give me the character Ta. Okay. Now for the Assyrian, target. Yeah, not so much like that. You know, on your application that you use on your iPhone when we do the Sabbath service, you could write it like that too. Sometimes the font is a little bit different. Ta. Yeah, no, it's a lot like that. All right. Okay, go ahead and erase that. Now I want you to write the word Barak. Barak. It's 3 characters. And no, we're not talking about Barack Obama. No, but the word Barak in ancient Hebrew means Bless. Bless. It's both. Barack. Uh-huh. Nah, you don't need to do the A. Because remember, ba has the pronunciation in it. So it's ba, ra, and then the last letter. Yeah. Barack. Think about it. We just did R. Yeah, that was the first character we did. We did Ra first. Yeah. So yeah, I'll give you a hint. On your character Ba, Ra is actually there already. Mm-hmm. All right. Now Barak ends with a what? Mm-hmm. But this is an end ka. An end ka is different than a regular ka. Is it not? So how's that gonna look? Like I said, you could use the chart if you need to. Yep. And it's all right that you exaggerate that because that lets people know. Fix the horizontal stroke. That one needs to be more prevalent. Yeah. Yeah, like I say you exaggerate it, but it's fine. Go ahead and do the ancient Barak in the ancient Hebrew. Remember, in the ancient Hebrew, you don't have to worry about end variants. Hmm. There you go. Barak. Barak. It doesn't. But you still need a Ra and a Ka. Yeah. All right. That's how you write down Barak. Now, of course, there are connectors that you put there to help pronunciate it, right? But you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. See, now that right there is incorrect. Yeah, it's the other way around. When it's pronounced by itself, it has that. When it's connected, there you go. And it draws over. Even on the Assyrian side, where the Ra connects to the Ka, technically you just have to kind of draw a line that shows that you're connecting them somehow. So that'll work too. But go ahead and erase that, and we'll just do one more word. The name that we're gonna write down is Kapayar, which is your name. So go ahead and write down Kapayar in the ancient and in the Assyrian. Not quite. Remember the character. Think about the character you need to write. Kapayar. It's not that either. If there's any name you should know, it's your name, right? So, uh huh. Character Pa. Remember, you got to write them close together so we know it's one word or name. Kappa Yar. Mm-hmm. Okay, now you need a what character goes next? Yep. And now write it. See, that's why when I was telling you about rewriting the characters over and over is so important because you're associating the way it sounds with the way it looks. So that as you pronounce your name, you already know which character to write because as you say the characters, they'll start to click in your mind and you'll start to remember them. So ka, pa, and then what? What comes next? Yeah. Yeah, go ahead and write yeah. And- Yeah. Not quite. It's kind of like ha, but remember ha is actually backwards than the way you wrote it just now. Go ahead and write ya. They are similar in a certain way. Hmm. I think of ya as in ya when you write down Yahweh. How does that look? It starts off with that is the Assyrian. Yeah. Y'all seeing this, right? See, what we're doing here is we're really just practicing the characters, right? Because as you pronounce them, we're doing the same drill that we've been doing, but now we're just putting it together. That's close. Just look at it. Yeah. Remember, that's what Ha looks like. That's the character Ha. That's definitely Ha. When you look at the board, y'all watching, you're seeing that he's actually diligent enough to not look at the chart on the right. While y'all technically can look, he's trying to remember. See, what we do is when we write the Hebrew alphabet, a lot of times you're used to writing it in the order Abba, Gada, Hawaza. We get used to that. But now you need to be able to jump around and use and command the characters to create the words that we need to understand the language. Kappa Yar. Nah, see, that's Ha in the Assyrian. Ya, you had the right idea when you wrote Ha, but think about it because Ya is more diagonal. And instead of having three prongs on one side, one of them comes out the bottom end. Look at it. Look at Ya. Kappa Yar. And now finish it off with the Ra. Yep. That's how it looks in the ancient Hebrew. Now go ahead and do the Assyrian variant. Kappa Yar. Okay. You had it right. Yeah, that works. Uh-huh. Now Pa looks very similar to what it does in the Assyrian, except there's one difference. Pa. Nope. Most of that is correct. Yeah, do the little hook, the little hangman hook. Yeah, has a little like claw that comes out. Not so much like that. But think of like a crane game when you're using the claw to pick up a stuffed animal, right? Those should point down instead of up. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's what Pa looks like. Kappa. Now do the Ya and the Ra. Okay. Copy R. There you go. That's it. All right, go ahead and erase that. Most High Christ. Hey, Shalom, Israel. I see y'all in the chat. We got Quatazayan Sapar in the chat. For those of you that attend the San Antonio classes, just know that that's what we do. We come in here, we put you on the spot because that shows whether you've been studying, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just writing my name. Is there in? Is there in? Yeah, it goes like this. Yeah. The other one. How do I study to do that? It's the same as when we study the characters. That's why I say, look, and I'm going to go over this for y'all that are just now tuning in that maybe perhaps you may not have attended some of our classes. When you study the Hebrew, you have to do it the way you did English in your elementary school class. You have to. You have to say it. Ah, 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 ah. What you do is you get a piece of paper and you write from right to left. You have to get used to that too. Every time you write it, you have to say it. Ah, ah, ah. Now, why do I say for you for when you practice? Notice how every time that I tell y'all to do that, y'all start writing it. You start writing it, and I'm not hearing y'all say it. And you need to say it as you write it because just like how you're able to write it because you know what it looks like, you need to be able to hear it and then know what you need to put down as you're hearing it. So that when you pronounce it, I say, okay, I need you to write copy R. You're thinking ah, then you're thinking ah, and then you're thinking ya, and then you're thinking ra, right? So now it becomes more flow. It flows better, right? Because that's what the studying does. Then you just go to the next character, ba, ba, ba. This does two things. It helps you with your legibility with your handwriting. It helps you get a repetitive style so that your characters always look the same, which is going to make it easier for you to understand what it is you're writing. If I write down na in the Assyrian, na in the Assyrian, I should be able to switch between na in the ancient Hebrew right away. Just because I've done pages of drilling the characters in my mind just like that. And hell, if I needed to, I'll even assign homework so that every week I need you to bring in a page full of you writing down the characters until when I drill you your ability during class that you'll be able to show me that you actually have remembered those characters by heart. You understand? And so those are the things that we want to be able to do. Today we're going to do the blessings prayer. Prayer. Now, the blessing prayer we normally do it in the Hebrew class where we have the binders and then you start to write it down, right? Or you start to read it, but it's written with this rather than this. And part of the reason why I say it's important to write it down and say it each time is because now, as you start to recite the prayer, which if you want to, go ahead and grab the binder right now, Officer Capitar. That way you can follow along as we write it down. Because when we do the prayers, I normally do them in the ancient Hebrew. So that's what we're going to stick with today, just for the sake of it being the normal format we do the prayers in, right? So that's what the characters are that we're going to use. Is that right? And it begins Barakatha Yahweh, right? Which is going to be Ba Ra Ka. Barak Atha, which is AH. And then you have this. Here's your Tha. And then you actually have a Ha at the end. Now, if I need to, I'll go over this again. And as we get each character down, I'll actually write it here so that you can follow along. Barak, Atha, Barak, Barak, Atha, right? Next word is Yahweh, right? Barak, Atha, Yahweh. I hope that's not too small on the screen. I need a lot of room because when we're doing a prayer, you're going to need a lot of room. Barak, Atha, Yahweh, right? Notice that I'm not even writing what it says in English because we want to remember what it means. Barakatha Yahweh. Okay. Now, for those of you that don't understand what we're saying, then we'll cover it as we go. But I'm not going to write it on the screen for the sake of the amount of space that I actually have. In fact, it's in there. Okay. Maybe I'll use the blue marker down in here. I'll have a little bit more space. I make it the entire prayer in one class today. So we'll see what we can get through. Okay. So we have Ata Yahweh, right? That's when we start the blessings prayer, that's what you see first and foremost. Bless you, Yahweh. Which of course means most high, right? But we're just gonna keep his name as it is because that's what it's supposed to be. Barakatha Yahweh. Notice that now we're gonna start using your in a lot of the phrases that we're gonna use throughout the remainder of this prayer because we are adding every rank and order from the most high all the way down to the sisters and brothers, the young men in the school. And so we're adding everything to Barak. That's why it's called the blessings prayer. Because now we're going to start adding the different ranks, starting with the most high, and going to Christ, and then going to Michael and the other angels. So we're going to say Barakatha Yahweh, Wa. And what does Wa mean? And now we got to put Yahweh Shai, which is Christ, which is going to be Yah, Ha, Wa, Sha, and then I. Okay. Wa, Yah, How. Let me write this character just a little bit better. And if these characters are too small, let me know and I'll try to enlarge them on the next line. All right. Barak Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai. Okay. So now we're getting into the grimy and gritty. Wa Yahweh Shai. So what are we saying when we saying Wa Yahweh Shai? Kabiyar, what do you think we saying? When we say Wa Yahweh Shai, what are we saying? And, right? Prepositions. Prepositions are added at the beginning of the word. Remember, we're reading Hebrew, which means that the beginning of the word is on the right side, not the left side. All right. For those of you that are used to, Spanish, English, and that sort of thing. So bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai. And I put in small characters Christ, just to make sure that everybody knows that says Christ. Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai. Now it says Wama Yaka'Allah, right? That's what it says next. Look at it, Kapiar. Now I want you to make sure that I got these characters right as I write them. Wa, which means and. Mayaka'Allah, which is Michael, which is the archangel Michael. Wa Mayaka'Allah. Wa ma ya ka Allah. And Michael. Wa mayak. Wa mayak. Wa mayak. Let me see how it's written because I think it's A and then it goes into YA. Wa mayak. Oh, wa maya. Wamaya ka. Oh, okay, cool. That makes it easier. Okay. Wamaya. So just to kind of help you with these connectors, Barak, Atha, Yahweh. Now, of course, if I have a squiggly that goes frowny face, that means you pronounce it by itself. If I show a smiley face, which if I do the line that connects them, then you pronounce the beginning of this word and then the end of that, beginning of this character and the end of that character. So ba, ra, ka becomes barak. Tha, ha becomes atha. You understand? So it's barak, atha, yahweh, wa, yahweh shai. Then we have wamaya ka Allah. Wamaya ka Allah. Wamaya ka Allah. Notice that there's actually no connectors on that. Every character on Wamaya ka Allah is by itself. All right. And Michael. All right. So now we've written part of the word. Now, say the prayer now. I'll copy R now that we have this much written down. Barakatah Yahweh. Right? Say it with me. Barakatah Yahweh. Wa Yahweh Shai. Wa Mayaka Allah. Now we're starting to get to the grimy and gritty of how we go through these prayers, because in the kingdom, you're not going to see English. You're not going to see that. You're not going to see that. It's just going to be the hieroglyphs, the pictorial Hebrew, unless of course the Most High or Christ gives us some other form. But this is the oldest language on the planet Earth, and so we want to go back to that, right? So that we can be separate from everybody else who uses a diluted form of our language in one way or another. Wamayaka Allah. Now we go with Wa Alahayim, right? I need you to stay with me, copy art, because you need to make sure that I'm writing the right thing. Wa Alahayim. Ah, La, Ha, Ya, and then Ma. Is that not what it says? Wa Alahayim. Wa Alahayim. Those two get connected at the end. So I'm going to write that here. Wa Alahayim. And the important thing for you to keep in mind is the word Allah, which is used in Wamayaka Allah. Allah means power, which was in this case what? The angels. The angels are powers. That's what power means. Now, in the Muslim faith, they write Allah like this. All right? That is not correct. That is not God's name. God's name is Yahweh. Right? But when we write Allah, which means the power, just two characters. You have your and your La. Right? That's all it is. La. La. You understand? So that's what we're looking at. Allah ha yum. Now that we know the word yum, when we add yum to the end of a phrase, that makes it plural. So what is it that we're saying when we say wa Allahayim? We know what we've been saying the whole time. We're saying wa. That means what? And. So when we say bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, and Michael, and the angels. That's right. Or and the powers. Right. But technically we associate the word Allahayim with angels. So it's and the angels. You understand? And now when you're writing it in the Hebrew, it's going to look exactly like this. Because again, you're using prepositions, and if necessary, you'll use possessive adjectives or things that turn it into plurals, right? For multiple, like we just did here. And you'll see that now you have it organized in groups, these characters, these phrases. Barakatah Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai, Waman Yaka Allah, Wa Allahayim. Now we have the next one. Matazab ya'a. Okay. Ma. Oh, wrong one. Let's see. Matazab ya'a. Now, the important thing to see here when you look at ma tazab ya'a is that you have a tazah that's connected with the ba. So you have ma tazab ya'a. You see that? Ma tazab. These are connected together. Ya'a. Ma tazab ya'a. So that goes ma tazab ya'a. Now, again, for those of you that are tuning in and maybe perhaps you're still trying to grasp the characters in the alphabet, always refer to this. But this is why I'm actually writing it down like this so that you can understand a couple things here. When I write this in the English pronunciation, it's written in the Hebrew structure, which is right to left. So as you're reading it like that in English, it's actually written from right to left. You see what I'm saying? I'm just giving you this as an assist so that you can associate with here and then understand what each word is, what is being said as we go along. Barakatha Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shai. I want to make sure that Yah is more legible for the camera. And if there's any major glare on the screen, forgive us for that. We have these lights behind us. Yah, which means commanding. Commanding. Now, the next word is general. What does that word sound like? La, wa, and then pa. What's up? That's exactly what it means. Alawat means general. Panya means what we know about. Let's go to our language, right? Panya. The word pan. Oh, it's selectively panya means when we say general on deck, that means that the general is here, right? So that is what we usually say. Wap. Alawap, right? Which means general. I might need to try to scrunch this in a little bit. Let me try to move it up a little more. La wap. I hope y'all are able to see it pretty well. But that's alawap, which means general. General. All right. And then, of course, the name of the general, which is leader of the Isupk, is Yahana. Ya. Ha. Now, if you notice when you look at it, it says Matazabya alawap Yaha. Notice connected to a na, right? But then there's another na. So it's Yahan and then a na at the end. Yahan na. You see that? That's how it's written. Yahan na. But we put it together so it's Yahana because there are actually two ends in that, right? So yeah, nah, which means joy. If I'm not mistaken. Yahana means joy. Yahana. Shy angel. Yeah, because well, I just want to make sure I'm keeping this the same. Every time I use a Hebrew name and keep it in the Hebrew, then Michael, angels. I'm just kind of translating it the exact way that we have on our prayer there. Okay, so continuing on. Now that we have that portion out of the way, now we go into the next part of our ranking structure. Wa Alahayim. Now we're going back to that again, which begins with a wa, and then now we're referring to more than one general, right? La ha. Oh, Slaki. I said Alahayim. Barakata Yahweh, wa Yahweh, waman Allah, wa Alahayim, matazab Ya'ah, Alawap Yahana. Ha Alawapyum. That's what we say next. Ha, and look at right there because that's what I should be writing. Ha la wap yum. Ha lo wap yum. Ha la wap yum. You see that? So what did we just say? Now notice we kind of split the prayer in half because right now we kind of recollected ourselves so that we can then begin a new section of the prayer. And instead of saying wa before everything, we actually collected ourselves and said ha alawapium, which means the. Here it is right here. Where's the preposition for ha? It's the. So when we go to ha alawapium, we're saying the. No. The generals, exactly. Ha alawapium. I don't want to go too far this way because then people won't be able to see it. Let's take a second. If you need to see the screen, write it down. Now's the time to do so. For those of you that are checking it out. Huh? No. I just noticed, because there's the glare on the screen, it kind of interrupts the wa alahayim. Yeah. Can't do nothing about that, y'all. It has to be there. So once we're past that part, you just have to understand it says wa alahayim. You're missing a couple characters there because of the glare on the screen. Okay. So forgive me for that, but we'll push forward and try to get and at the end, what I'll try to do is I'll try to turn off one of those so that y'all could see it better. Like if I go like this, you should still be able to see the whole thing. You see how those characters popped up now? You know what? I might just leave it like that just for this time because it makes it to where there's no glare on the side of the screen that has the prayer. You understand? So that's to That's 12. I hope y'all can still hear me. I think I charged this mic long enough for the whole class. So, starting from the beginning, go ahead and read it by yourself. BR, what we got? Read it. You want to speak loud, that way you can pick up on my mic. Wa yaka Allah. Wa Allah hayam. Matazab ya'ah. Allah yahana. Ha Allah wapium. What comes next? Hasaranyam. There you go. So ha. Then you have sa. That's the first time we've used sa. Look at that. Boom. Almost looks Japanese. Well, Japanese language almost looks like Hebrew, actually. At least that character. I know that looks like a Japanese character. I'm trying to write it neat. Ha. Sa. Run. Yum. You see how effortless that is for me to just write it as I'm pronouncing it? That comes from me studying it the way that I told you to study it. Because as I'm saying it, I'm like, okay, I already know what I need to write. And I'd be able to do this even in the Assyrian, but again, We're using the ancient Hebrew because this is where it shines the most. Hasaran Yum. So what do we say when we say Hasaran Yum? What does that mean? Exactly. The captains. So knowing that, let's break this down a second. That way people can understand this better. So when we say plural, I don't know if I'm spelling that right. Whatever. Plural. Yum. Right. Basically, yum is male, yan is female. When we're referring to multiple, right? This is actually technically, it's not a possessive adjective, but it is something that we do add to the end of a word to make it plural, right? So what have we done here? When we say ha alawapium, the phrase for general is alawap, right? That's how you know. It's right there. You know what I'm saying? When we're writing down ha saranyam, the base word is captain. So the base word is saran. Saran. Like Saran Yatazak, Saran Kataza, Saran Akkad Abarayam. I kind of make it a habit of using the brute words when I program brothers' names into my phone. You know why? Because when I go through my contact list, if I'm writing it in ancient Hebrew, heck, if you write it in English too, but I just do it by the ancient Hebrew to help me remember the names of the ranks better, then if I need to talk to a captain, I'll go to Saran in my contact list, which is under the character S, and then it shows all the captains in my phone book, right? If I go to Quatazayan, which means officer, then I know where all the officers are at, right? Was the majority of the brothers that we talk to day. So we have Ha Saran. So the word Saran is captain. So what have we done to put it a part of the sentence? We added a the to it, and we made the word captain plural by adding yam. Remember, yam is the pronunciation that's added to the end of the word if we're talking about males. And of course, captains are all male, right? So that's a fact. And then yan, which we'll see an example later in the prayer, is for actually put three because that's what we're used to with the Hebrew, is for females, right? So let's continue. Ha saranyum. Okay. Now what comes next? Ha quatazayanyum, right? All right. So again, we start with ha, and then we go with qua, taza, ha quata, ha quatazayan, yan, quataza, right? Quataza, quatazayanyum. Let me see that just to make sure. Quatazayan. Yeah, that's right. Yanyum. You see how it's connected? Ha quataza yanyum. Ha quataza yanyum. Ha quataza yan. Ha quataza yanyum. Ha quataza yanyum. There we go. So ha quataza yan yum. Knowing that that's what we're saying, then what is the root word in this phrase? The officers, right? The officers. So what is the root word in ha quataza yanyum? Can you tell me what that is? I'll give you an example. We've been doing it this whole time. But notice that it says yun yum, just like when we say banyanyum, bayanyum, which means tribe of Benjamin, which means son of the right hand. Quatazan. Yeah. Quatazayan. Quatazayan means officer. So we're saying the officers. So it's ha quatazayan yum. All right. That's a lot. That's a lot to. The next one, this one's also kind of a tricky one too, even though it's the lowest rank for brothers once they get their Hebrew name. Is what? Ha. This is a tricky one. Trooper is what? What is it? Ka Yayal, right? So Ha. Wait, it says Ha first, right? Ha Ka Yayalim. Okay. Ka Ya Yal Yum. You see how it's kind of got a bit out of hand real quick, right? We're talking about a lot of characters here. But as you start to see this more and more in this writing, it starts to make more sense because now you're starting to see these characters more often than you're seeing the English characters or the English characters that give you the pronunciation of the Hebrew. Ha, and that's the whole point of why we do this. Ha, ya, yal, yum. Right. So the base word is ha ya yal. Ha ha ya yal yum. The troopers. Right. The troopers. If this thing would write, that would be great. Let's see. The troopers. Yeah, that's a lot of progress. What I'm probably going to try to do is draw lines here to help separate because I know that could get crunched up pretty quick. I just didn't want to go too far down on here. I don't know how much room we had left. So we're almost done with the prayer actually. Ha saranyam, ha kwatazayanyam, ha chal yayoyam. And then we go into an example that has yan, right? The troopers, haka yayahum, wa, ha. Now we use both of them and the, right? Wa ha akwath, right? Ah. We know the word ak means brother, but when we say akwath, that means sister. Waha akwath. Let me see. Waha akwath yan. Waha akwath yan. Let me write that. Waha. So what is it that we're saying? We're saying, and sheesh. And there we go. And the sisters. You see that? Again, the preposition wa means and. The preposition ha means the. The word is akwath. You understand? Because akwath is for a sister. Ak by itself is brother, right? So waha akwathyan. Akwathyan. Notice that when we've been saying all the male ranks, we've been ending it to make it plural with yum. Again, you see that right here. Yum is what makes it a character plural when we're dealing with men ranks. Yan, which since we're talking about the sisters, they are all under this rank right here, the sisters. Waha akwa. Okay. Yan. Yeah. You know how like when we say the prayer to greet the sisters, Hawa Shamar al Athan, A thun, we know that a tha means you, and a thumb means you, plural, guys. A thun is you, plural, females. You understand? That's why we follow those same rules throughout the whole thing. But I like this prayer because it gives you a lot of good examples of these prepositions and some of these right here. Now, we are almost done with the prayer. Okay. And what time is it? Actually, yeah, we're almost done with the class. So let's finish this. So we have Waha Akwathian, and then how do we finish it? Yahweh Shem Yahushua, right? So that we're used to that. Yes. So now we go Yahweh. I'll finish the prayer. Yahweh. Yahweh. And then Bahasham. Bahasham. Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai. I always write the connectors to help y'all get better. We're going to say the whole prayer at the end just so that we can cover that. All right. Yahweh Shai. So again, I'm going to write the English, the translation, Yahweh. We're going to just say keep Yahweh as Yahweh. Yahweh. Bahasham, which means in the name. Now, notice that we said in the name, where we have used phrases like Waha Akwatian, which is and the, in the, and here's your proof right here, because the preposition ba goes for in. So now we're actually saying in the name. All right. And the sister Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Christ, or Yahweh Shai. Oh, Shlakia. And what's the next one? Barak. Oops. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Barak. Hold on. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, the water Aman, yes. So, the, oh shit. So, good thing that we're just about done because this marker has gone through it. The, wa, da. The, wa, da. Aman. Aman. The water Aman. That's exactly how it's written. Yep. That's how you write it. That's the prayer. We went through quite a bit there today, but you see how the language is grouped together like that? Thank you. What do you mean? Yeah. So be it. Well, the way that we've written the prayers from the beginning is with the understanding that it's written right to left. When we translate it to English, it's written left to right because it's English. We're not going to put English backwards. But however, you are backwards here only because I'm lining it up with the words that are in the Hebrew. Let me just double check it real quick. Barakatha Yahweh, wa Yahweh Shai, wa ma Yaka Allah, wa Allahayim, ma Tazab Ya'ah, Allah wap Yahana. Ha'alawapyam, Hasaranyam, Haquatazayanyam, Haquataza, Haquatazayan, Haquatazayan. Okay. Haquatazayan, Kayayoyam, Hakayayoyam, Waha'akwathyan, Yahweh Baham, Yahweh Shai, the water, Aman. Now, when I read that, I actually didn't read this. I was reading this. That's what you want to do is you want to get to the point where you can read that. All right. You want to be able to read the actual Hebrew characters, not rely on the English characters, not rely on the English translation, but to actually read the Hebrew characters as they look right here on the screen. You understand? And that right there is the blessings prayer for the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. They start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We're under commanding General Yohana. And we're here to teach the truth of the Bible that blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are the real Israelites that the Bible speaks of. And with that, shalom.